going on, everybody? Hope you're doing well today. Texas Redleg here. Wanted to do a video today about your plans, our plans. You know, a plan A, B, and C. And there's just a few areas I want to touch on with regards to those plans. First one being communications. Do you have alternate communication methods or backup communication methods? For instance, if we get hit with an EMP or massive disruptions to the grid or wireless communications, towers, cell towers, repeaters, etc. Do you have a plan of communication somehow? I.e., do you have protected devices that don't require use of the grid or a tower of some kind? I.e., two-way radios, CBs, ham radio, things of that nature. Do you have those things? Because if there is a conflict or a preemptive strike of some sort to the homeland here, the first thing they typically do is take out comms. Because you are unable to coordinate, you're unable to find out what's really going on. There's just a lot of ambiguity and a lot of chaos, and that's what the enemy will thrive upon to accomplish their goals in terms of a conflict. So with regards to alternate or backup communications, I would focus on, again, ham radio if you can. There's other platforms regarding that type of commo as well. And I'm not an expert in it, but I do know that's one. And then CB, and then you have the wireless two-way radios. So I think everybody should have a good set of two-way radios because, they're just, if you're on a farm or if you're on the road or if you're backpacking or camping or whatever, they're just handy to have where you can communicate with each other, provided that you're not, you've got a good set, number one. Number two, they're charged. Number three, you've got a flat plane, so to speak, and able to communicate with them. Some of them require a pretty flat plane to be able to reach each other. But there's good ones and bad ones, and as much as you want to spend, I'm quite sure, probably just depends on you. So, your budget. So, second thing to do with plan A, B, and C is if you don't have alternate communications, if you don't have a way of contacting people that you're in your mag or for whatever reason your comms don't work, do you have a predetermined rally point or meeting location? At some point after so many days, is that going to trigger your, evacuation plans? Is it going to have you rally up at this particular intersection at this town or outside of this town or whatever the case might be, this golf course, this park, who knows? But I would encourage people to have some sort of formulated plan of what they're going to do, when they're going to do it, and where they're going to go with regards to having like a rally point of, comms are out, they're not coming back, we're on our own, day 4, we go here, or whatever the case might be. Everybody's got their own, reasoning and needs there with regards to that. But, of course, having a plan is good. Having an alternate plan is good, but you also need, auxiliary plans, because what if the roads are blocked? What if you can't go through this area, but you can get through over here? Things like that, right? And, you're also going to have probably pockets of areas where, things might work along the way. Just depends, right? Depends on who gets hit where and how far the effective, burst of kill radius is out there, I guess, with regards to, damage or, just disruptions. But the serious note about comms, we were so dependent on communications, electronic and otherwise, that you're pretty much dead in the water if you can't communicate. So try to work on that if you can. It's something you have to sit down and think about and write out. And again, with these rally points and rendezvous points, if you want to call them that, if you're a military person, you'll know what I'm talking about. You want to have those plans solidified. So without fail, if this or this happens and it's no communications for this many days, on day 5 or whatever it is, you head that way. And everybody's got to be on the same page. For those of you that don't have a place to go, there's a lot of farmland in this country. There's a lot of agricultural space. There's a lot of, I would say, lack of agricultural, workers and help, i.e. people that just want to work, period. If you don't have a place to go, or you don't have any land bought up, or a lease of some kind, it might behoove you to put some feelers out and talk to people, and maybe you have an old, in your area, there's an old farmer or rancher that's retiring, and maybe their family doesn't care anything about farming or anything like that, and they're kind of just on their own. There might be an opportunity for you to work out some kind of arrangement where, you can either lease a small piece of property or buy a small piece of property, owner finance, so to speak, and, have something to do, some place to go rather, in case something were to happen. I mean, it takes some work to probably find something like that, but there's a lot of family farms in this nation that are basically going to sell out because the younger generations don't care anything about continuing the farming trade, and with the way everything looks, why would you? I mean, it looks like a pretty losing proposition to me, but there are successful family farms, but we have to have the conditions right so they can make a profit, and they have to have the workers and the equipment to be able to make a profit, plus the good weather to grow things. So, there's plenty of property, out there. A lot of it is very expensive, as you well know, but I think if you search around and talk to people and, venture out a little bit and maybe become friends with some of these, rural folks that don't have any real, help or family, and maybe pitch them, maybe you barter something for having access to, private agricultural / hunting land like that, or fishing land, or access to a river or something like that. I mean, there's just a lot of opportunities out there, I think, for people that investigate it and research it and really get serious about finding something. And I think the longer you wait on that, the more at risk you become. So anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there, that people need to really have a plan A, B, and C, and get your comms solidified. Prepping is one thing, and communications is part of prepping, but really try to have an opportunity to have alternate communications at some level if you can. And I did a video on my portable CB, I would say probably about 3 months ago or so. And it's a pretty informative video on how to do it. If you're interested, you might want to go back and check it out. But alternate communications is huge, and you got to make sure you protect them from EMPs, at all costs, if you can do that. And look up Faraday cages, obviously, if you don't know what that is, but a Faraday cage. It's basically an insulated box that allows your electronics to survive an EMP blast. Don't know if they work or not. Hope I never have to find out, but that's what everybody does. There's also these blackout bags. I've done a video on that as well before. But if you get yourself some communications, make sure you protect them somehow as much as you can. Anyway, with that, hope everybody's doing well. I hope that everybody is having a good start to their week, and they are preparing as much as they can. So with that, keep prepping, stack it deep, and long live the Republic.